everyone, for today's rant video I'm going to be going to TikTok to find some stories on Am I the Jerk, mainly for yes you are the jerk stories, because there are compilations of no you're not the jerk and everyone's the jerk with a little bit of yes you're the jerk in it, but there's not enough compilations on here about yes you are the jerk. So that's what we'll be doing today. So I hope you enjoy the show. If you like it, hit like and subscribe to see more of my rant videos and or my storytime videos. Okay, on to the first story.
My daughter wants to terminate a pregnancy. I'm against this. My 20-year-old daughter Lily is in her sophomore year of college. She got pregnant by her boyfriend Matt, who she then discovered is cheating on her. She dumped him for cheating and now said she plans to terminate the pregnancy. She is 10 weeks pregnant and I am devastated because my husband and older daughter Kara plan to help her do this despite my objections that it is wrong of Lily to terminate the pregnancy out of inconvenience. I thought we were a Catholic family that puts family above everything. But my husband in particular is justifying and rationalizing the decision because it is Lily and he doesn't want her life ruined. Lily said she deserves a better baby daddy and better situation if she has kids in the future and got angry when I told her that the time for her to decide if she was willing to have him as the father of her child was before she had slept with him. She got very mad when I saw that and told me it is not her fault she was lied to and cheated on. I don't disagree with that, but disliking Matt because he cheated is not a justifiable reason to terminate pregnancy. My husband said having the baby will ruin Lily's life. I said this doesn't have to be. I told Lily what we can do is have her transfer here to a nearby state college and I will drop down to part-time work to help while she continues school and we will raise the baby together. She told me no effing way because she's not going to Arizona State where anyone can get in instead of Ivy League, because there is a big difference in prestige and I don't want to give up where I am going. I told her that actions have consequences and Kara went off at me saying I sound like a crazy forced birther. Lily said she doesn't want to raise the child, and then I told her that she needs to take responsibility for sleeping unprotected. She rolled her eyes at me. Lily wants to go to an Ivy League law school and then move to New York City and a baby would totally mess that up. I offered to totally adopt the baby and raise it for her. Just please don't terminate, and Lily said that she does not want to go through with the pregnancy and just told me to accept it. She hasn't talked to me in 3 days. I also don't know if I can stay in my marriage if my husband follows through with his promise to drive Lily back to her college, take her to the clinic, and help her out for a few days while she recovers.
Update. My daughter wants to terminate a pregnancy. I am against this. My husband and my oldest daughter Kara drove my pregnant 20-year daughter Lily back to college while I was at work yesterday, and they just informed me Lily surgically terminated the pregnancy today and it went safely and she is now recovering. My youngest two daughters found me sobbing. Andy, who is 16, said it was the best thing for Lily, while Emma, who is 14, said I don't think I could have won personally, but it was Lily's body and her choice, Mom. You need to get over it. I haven't spoken to my son about it. I am so devastated that I basically have 4 daughters convinced by the world that it is okay to sleep unprotected and then terminate pregnancies they create just so they can stay at a certain college or because they don't want to become overweight and covered in stretch marks, as Lily so horribly put it. I'm horrified at how selfish my daughter has become, choosing pregnancy termination over the temporary inconvenience of pregnancy, choosing an Ivy League school and ending her baby over finishing college in Arizona and giving life to the child she made through her own decisions. I'm heartbroken, and my husband aided and abetted her. I never wanted to be a divorcee, but I don't think I can stay in the relationship, and Andy and Emma have told me they want to live with Dad if I do because I am being so backwards and controlling their words. Edit. Our relationship has been strained ever since and he has started talking divorce because I'm an unsupportive mother for not wanting a pregnancy terminated. My 2 oldest daughters have become huge activists. The daughter who aborted went to the huge protest in New York City with a sign that said my decision to terminate was the best choice I've ever made. She posted it on Instagram. She wrote in the comments that she was 20 and still in college and newly single and her life would have been over if she was forced to have a baby. I replied to it listing all the help I offered her because she was painting herself like her life would be over and she'd be living in a box with no money to feed her baby if she had it. She deleted my comment and told me to watch it or I will block you from my social media. I barred my youngest daughters from looking at their social media, but my husband overruled me. I am trying to raise my children in the faith, like we pledged to on our wedding day, and he doesn't care. I asked my daughter who terminated the pregnancy how she will explain this content to her children in the future, and she rolled her eyes and said she never wants children because she'd rather travel, have a career and have money, and children are annoying and she doesn't want to end up like me. This broke my heart.
All I have to ask, OP, is it worth it? Is losing your children, your husband, your foundation of life, is all of that really worth it? Just because of your personal belief systems? Should she have been sleeping around without protection? No. Does she have the right to abort the baby? Yes. Are you wrong for being upset? Also yes, because as a woman who had to push out 4 children, you should know that having a pregnancy is not a temporary situation. I mean, you've dealt with that situation for 18 years times 4, so I would expect you to know this, OP.
My daughter hasn't talked to me since I punished her for having a boyfriend without my permission. It has been 3 months, and she hasn't said a single word to me even though what I did was for her own good. Me and my wife have 2 children, a daughter and a son. Our daughter is in her 2nd year in college. Now, she has always been a good daughter. She got straight A's in high school and was always first in class. She was also a part of the cheerleading team and managed to get a scholarship for a good university. The thing is, ever since she turned 15 I knew all the boys would be gunning for her. My daughter is really beautiful, and I just know that all types of guys will try to sleep with her and take advantage of her. So I set a rule for her that she couldn't have a boyfriend until she graduated from college. I decided that after college, she would be mature enough to reject the guys that were only taking advantage of her. My daughter agreed that she would stick to that rule. So, when she broke this rule, I knew I had to punish her harshly to make sure she understands the consequences of her actions. She had always dreamed of buying a car with her own money. As a result, she had worked really hard on her job even during high school. I know this because she used to sacrifice hanging out with her friends and instead take on more hours at work. 1 month before her college began she was still $100 short of buying her dream car. Now, I could have just let her work another month and she would have had enough money to buy it. But I remembered the effort she put in, so as a favor and a gift I decided to give her the $100. She was really happy and thanked me a lot. Things were going good and I was happy for her until she entered her 2nd year. One day when I was talking to her on the phone, I asked her where she was and she said I'm hanging out with my boyfriend. I was horrified. I asked her what she meant by that and she just shrugged off my question. She had a boyfriend in college even though we agreed that she would wait until she had a stable career. I was even angrier at the fact that she hadn't even asked my permission or told me she had a boyfriend, and I had to find out in a roundabout way. I didn't know where she got this audacity from. I never had to punish her before this because she was always a good daughter, but maybe that's why she had the nerve to pull this move. I knew I had to reprimand her and do it in a way that she'll remember for a long time. I waited until she came home on a weekend using her dream car. I figured that since I had helped her pay for the car I can use it as a punishment. So when she was asleep, I took her keys and drove her car to a friend's house that she didn't know about. I told her about the punishment the next day and told her if she wanted her car back she had to apologize to me and break up with her boyfriend. I can't believe what she did next. She called me controlling and a jerk and left the house immediately to go back to her dorm room. Apparently my daughter had been completely spoiled by her jerk boyfriend, just like I thought. That's when I knew I was right to punish her properly. My wife told me I was a jerk, but she is a very naive person and doesn't understand the ways of the world. It has now been 3 months since that day, and my daughter still hasn't apologized, so I haven't given her car back to her. She told her mother that she won't talk to me until I give it back to her. But I know that this anger is just momentary and that she will realize what I did was for her own good and break up with her boyfriend. And when she does, she will apologize and thank me for saving her life. But my wife just had to butt in and do something completely unnecessary. My daughter hasn't talked to me since I punished her for having a boyfriend without my permission. But I know that this anger is just momentary and that she will realize what I did was for her own good and break up with her boyfriend. And when she does, she will apologize and thank me for saving her life. But my wife just had to butt in and do something completely unnecessary. My daughter was coming home this weekend and I was 100% sure that she will finally apologize to me and everything will be peaceful again. But just a few hours before her arrival was due, my wife told me she was leaving to go somewhere. I asked her where she was going, and her reply was basically, "It's none of your business. I'll be back in a bit." I was really angry that she spoke to me in that tone, but I decided that I will be the bigger person and only scold her after she came back. Little did I know, she was planning to piss me off even more. I gave my son a few toys to play with and sat down to watch some TV. An hour later my son suddenly says, "Look daddy, sister finally found her old car." I was confused at first, but then I looked outside. My wife and daughter were stepping out of the same car that I had used for the punishment. I was really angry and didn't hesitate to show my anger. I asked them, "What the hell do you think you were doing?" Apparently, my wife had gone to my friend's house and got the car back after telling him a bunch of lies. She had then told my daughter that I changed my mind and giving her car back was my way of apologizing. I was disgusted when my daughter hugged me and said she forgives me, because I was supposed to be the one receiving an apology. I lashed out at my wife for lying and ruining the punishment that I had carefully thought of. I tried to snatch the keys of the car but my wife got in between us. Can you believe it? She actually pushed me away and told me that was enough. She told me that she was trying to help me not damage my relationships. Further, she even told me that they would call the police if I didn't back off. At that point I was seeing red. I pushed my wife out of the way. She fell onto the ground and screamed in pain, but I ignored her. She was a naive woman and needed to realize the importance of a harsh punishment. I was confident that my daughter would see my side and hand over the keys. But it looks like that jerk boyfriend has completely turned her against me. She actually tried to run away by getting back in the car. Thankfully I was able to tackle her and take the keys away from her. I immediately got in the car and drove away to a friend's house. I received a bunch of texts insulting me and my character. I don't know what was going on. My kind daughter had turned into a monster who can't even see her own fault. I ordered her to announce her breakup and sent me a proper apology text or neither me nor her car is coming back. Hopefully, this will finally open her eyes and I will get my wife's admiration for not backing off.
Now usually I would just laugh at OP and mock him for how stupid he was, but instead, I'm going to list every single crime he did, how much each crime is worth and how much it is in total. So first you committed Grand Theft Auto, and the sentencing for Grand Theft Auto is 5 years in jail, 5 years of probation, and $5,000 worth of fines. And that's me being nice on you, OP. So if we count that up by twice, you have 10 years in jail, 10 years of probation, and a $10,000 fine. And you know what, OP? I was going to be nice and give you 1 count of aggravated assault and 1 for accidental assault, because I thought you were sure that you didn't mean to hurt your wife. But then immediately after that, you said she deserved it and needs to be taught a lesson. So no, you get 2 charges of aggravated assault, which is 5 years. If we'll count up the Grand Theft Auto and the aggravated assault charges, you have 20 years in jail, 10 years of probation, and a $10,000 fine. And if your daughter and wife are smart, a possible restraining order and a divorce. And all I have to say, OP, is that I hope it was worth it, because there's no undo button, there's no save file for you. The only save file you'll have is running away to a new country and starting over.
Am I the a-hole for defending my wife against my sister and telling her to be a better aunt? When my wife's sister back in Peru had her children, her entire family was around. They had a childcare schedule, a cooking and cleaning rotation for the first year the baby was born. They also got an entire nursery for free and set up by the family. Her sister didn't have to do anything but keep their baby alive. Everything else was handled by the families. I thought it was awesome. My wife was so excited and couldn't wait to have kids. We both thought it was going to be super simple to get by. Well, we didn't realize that because her family were in Peru and we were in Europe, we would not get the same treatment as her sister. This meant we only had my family to help out. When we announced our pregnancy, my family congratulated us but didn't do anything. My wife had to plan and host her own baby shower, and our guests only bought 1 item per couple from our registry instead of 1 present each, which would have been the correct thing to do. So we were missing a lot of baby gear we needed and couldn't afford. My wife was very upset by the lack of initiative and generosity, especially by my sister. Not once did she offer to babysit or take our baby on holidays abroad where she lives. She didn't give us a gift aside from the shower or help us. We had our baby and everyone called to congratulate us, but no one bought my wife a push present, and no one came to help with chores, meals, or childcare. She started crying every day about how alone and abandoned she was. She said that my sister never liked her and didn't care about our daughter. The difference between her family and mine was breaking her heart. 2 months after birth, my wife sent a very long email to my sister detailing all the ways she had failed as a sister-in-law and aunt, and it was pretty brutal. My sister forwarded me the email and wrote, "Call me." So I did, and my sister was very aggressive from the start. She asked me,
What the F is this? What's wrong with her? Who does she think she is?
when she called us a-holes, I told her that she was a disappointment and my wife is right to be angry because of the lack of attention we have received from her. My sister was completely cold and unloving when my wife needed support. My sister told me to
Move to Peru and raise your kids there then.
I told her to not bother contacting us until she was ready to act like an aunt and she'd have to work to regain privileges. We haven't talked since, and I was expecting an apology gift for Christmas, but nothing came. Not for my wife or my girl. We had a family dinner on the 26th and I brought up my sister's tantrum, but the table got very shifty. Turns out my sister had forwarded my wife's email to everyone in my family, with a recap of our conversation, saying she was respecting my wishes. Turns out, my sister had started a fund for my daughter and we had no idea. But since my wife sent her that nasty email, all the money and future payments have been redirected into my brother's kids' accounts. They're getting 1.5x what they should at the expense of my own kid. My family thinks I'm an a-hole for what I said, and my wife is angry at me because we're losing money that belongs to our kid. My wife is still mad at me, but I was just defending her during a time of distress when my sister was most unsympathetic, and I feel like my wife started this. I was just defending her.
This is just another Illuminati situation. You would have everything you wanted if you just shut up. If you had just kept your spoiled, ungrateful little mouth shut, you would be okay. But no, you have to be entitled about it. Well, that's it, everyone. I appreciate you sticking around this long. Sorry for the bad editing. And I hope you enjoyed the video once again. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want more. Bye!